but I'm not sure if you can actually position that into a win in any way. But
Tide would have basically taken the Avenge as being that great of a pick. Swapping out Beastmaster Roar is okay, but swapping out Slark means your Avenge still just dies afterwards, I feel like. So I think I actually would have liked something like a Shadow Demon there more a bit, because at least it can save. It's better against Slark, you can disrupt him, you can ulti him no matter what. I think that would have been a bit of a better pick, but the downside, or the better thing about Venge here is that Vengeance Aura and the Wave of Terror is very good with Jug Phantom Tide. It's a lot of physical damage, but if DC gets too tanky and they get AC and a Vlad's, Void Boy is going to stop winning fights. That's what's going to happen. They're 2 all-in on 1 damage type. That much. With Blink Hex, like it seems very iffy in a lot of ways. I don't know. I feel like they have to get ahead for their heroes to be better. Is the only way.
Alright, Purge, I'm all in on Misery on these predictions, Jesus. I mean, it just happened to be that we have 3 predictions about wards, and Misery is the one who's placed in the first round of wards here, as he's the disruptor. Soxa is going to be a little bit greedier on the 4 position, so he's unlikely to be doing much warding in this game, despite him doing it last game.
Last player to be killed though, who'd you pick for that one?
Resolution.
On Slark. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I might pick Wee.
Yeah, I think that's also a respectable.
Who's going mid? That's the question. If it's
Wee's going mid.
I have 30 seconds. But it's Phantom Lancer mid. Okay, if it was Jug, I would say maybe he would be the last to die. I'm gonna put Wee down. Opponent rotated over, but he's got Wave of Terror, so yeah, good luck on that one.
Alright, Saps has the experience. I was hoping that we would see Soxa throw out the shockwave. He's holding on to it now.
It's so much mana though. You gotta save it for the right times.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna go for the last hit on the creep, but
Blind's gonna find him.
Fair nose.
Oh wow, he knew exactly where.
Unfortunately, he can't trap Soxa in there because he can't win that man fight, but
yeah,
he can get some damage and force him away at the very least.
If there was an observer ward there, he knew he hadn't left the jungle, so he just predicted where he would be hiding. So Soxa is kind of getting stuff done. He's forcing the supports to rotate around. This is overall quite good, I think, and he'll always accelerate with Devour later, and it's also slowing down Tide's jungling speed. So this is overall very, very good for them, because Moo's going to be getting full experience and gold gain, and the safe lane of DC is always going to. They're also pushing. I assume they did this on purpose. They're even pushing with Dark Pack here on the safe lane.
Yeah, this is, I repeat this in cast so often, but the one person that I really notice doing this the most is like Matumba Man for Liquid. Whenever he plays Slark, he's always pushing the lane in when the offlaner's away and chipping away at the tower. And he gets it incredibly fast, and you're seeing Resolution doing it really quickly too. They're forcing Snake to come back, and he just gets glimpsed right away.
That's a dead tower now.
If they cut this creep wave, yeah, I think he just pulls it along and lets this creep wave finish up the tier 1. That's going to be a tower before the 3-minute mark, it looks like.
Huge. I haven't seen a tower die this fast in a long time, but Glimpse really provides.
Okay, maybe we won't see it die that fast because Omega Poner is now here. Resolution, holding off here is going to start turning, but
If he had 5 more mana, he would have gotten that kill. Ironwood Branch, anything like that, because he would have gotten Wave of Terror off. That would have been 30 pure and an extra like 18% damage with every right click. Yeah, 18. Looked really bad. If that tower last hit came through, I would have been like Resolution buys Midas no matter what.
Yeah.
But now I think it's going to be more standard.
Does mean Soxa gets some space at the top lane, but maybe it's too much space. Almost ends up dying. Fortunately, his boots first. The phase boots yet. And,
Level 2 Scorched Earth too. Like he's so leveled already.
Yeah. That is the thing, right? Is that even though it was a deny, it pulls the heroes out of the jungle, out of that top area, down to the bottom lane, and the Doom is able to show up at the top lane knowing that I've got just enough to be able to survive through the Earth Spike spin.
And he was still catching up that whole time because every, he leaves them. He basically eats a creep, creates space for 70 seconds, goes, eats another creep, and then he's like, oh, there's space top for levels. Gets level 3, and now he's not dying. So DC is basically getting full efficiency out of the map now.
And this will leave our Beastmaster quite ahead of Tidehunters, as that jungle is always going to go to the favor of Beastmaster, but obviously Snake King rather delayed as he had to head down to bottom lane and had Soxa stealing half his experience as well. So everything seems to be kind of to the favor of Digital Chaos to start here.
Yep, and it's going pretty even here between Lone Druids, so everything's going good for them. They're pretty happy with this, I think. And Doom's a little behind in terms of farm, but he's going to hit 6, and that's when they're going to start getting kills, because that's what Void Boys have trouble with. They've got pretty good 5-man team fight, and they have pretty good individual heroes, but once like somebody gets doomed and pounced by Slark, then people are going to die, and it's just going to create space for we to get faster Radiance.
747 forced to use a Doppelganger, as I believe when Snare came out on him. We're going to have him going for the minus resolution. Doubt he goes a -2. That would be a little bit greedy for DC.
Yep, he just picked up treads. He'll be more individually able. Like, he can push lanes better.
Yeah.
Possibly get kills. I think it's better for them to be a little aggressive. I think they can basically do this passive farming thing while also ganking and do way better than Void Boys at that. As long as they play around and make sure they don't get ravaged or take a really bad team fight, things like that, then they're fine.
Right. 2 supports back up at the top lane. Soxa is hesitant to actually show up there. In fact, he's going to be in a position to be able to pop their smoke, their attempted gank onto Weehaw. We talked about the danger of the triple nuke lane in mid against Wee, and Soxa actually spoils that surprise perfectly.
So I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but I think it's a fun mechanic. When you transform in Dota 2, it's a Warcraft 3 based thing. If you start the transformation right when the nuke hits you, you dodge the damage. And I think you missed it on camera, but I caught it. He dodged the Spirit Lance from PL there, so you missed it, but I just love that. I just love watching people do that. It's very, very cool. Very small thing. You could do it, used to be able to do it with God's Strength and Metamorphosis and Alchemist, Chemical Rage, it happens sometimes. Yep. It also technically stops the stun too, in some ways.
Alright, well, Clairvoyance will be caught, and that will be our first blood going the way of Resolution.
Last player to be killed. It's not Lion.
Yeah, it's not Lion. Soxa, is he going to be the next one on the list? Pat Soul, this time around he does have phase boots, he'll be able to keep up with you, but you can't stop this TP now they've already used the magic missile. And that again comes back to the fact that the Lion was in the bottom lane. The pressure of this push from Resolution is continuing to open up spots for Doom to show his face at top lane, get some experience, and both times they try and go on him, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, it really did a lot. You're definitely right about that. That early push hurts the Lion, which allowed Doom to get the level 3, which means now Jug's not getting the kills in the lane that he's been expecting to. He hasn't gotten a kill yet. He's still last hitting well, but he was expecting to be able to get spin kills, and they're really strong trialing. But just the pressure and the space creation from Sox has opened up so many options. They've been really working together as well as a team here at DC. I've always think about games like these, and it makes DC look like the best team in the world, and then I think back of how difficult it is to play at a major, and it really just shows the separation between the best teams in the world and even the tier 2 or also even tier 3 teams in some of the regionals.
Yeah. But it's funny how that difference can be crossed once you start making that push forward and you start playing against the tier 1 teams and you experience how good they are and you learn from that. Moo trying to get out the Primal Roar, Mega Poner just outside of range thanks to Nighttime, and now Moo may be the one in trouble. Pat Soul thinks he's in trouble in Italy. He's going to come forward with a spin. He's going to be controlled up at Primal Roar, and they sent back Clairvoyance. That is actually going to turn the fight back in the favor in Digital Chaos until Snake King shows his face, and DC go, nope. He's not going to go into a Ravage, that's for sure.
They're close to being able to fight that, but they needed either Doom or Disrupt ulti, and they weren't quite 6 yet, so pretty early skirmish there. Sox is going to get spotted by a Lion, and no death here most likely. So Roar had to be used, so that was decent for Void Boys, but I think DC's overall okay with that. He's not going to farm as much. Misery's going to get some last hits here. Yeah. Not a big loss for them.
They didn't lose any time on their important farming heroes, right? The Lone Druid and the Slark continuing to farm away. A Resolution. You think Blink or Shadowblade this game? Which one is a little bit better?
Definitely SB, I think, right? Yeah. Like, if he gets, if he pounces on somebody like Tide, it just starts the fight basically. It forces a bad Ravage. Same thing for heroes like Lion or Venge. He could just wreck these two heroes. Either of them, if Slark initiates first, he's probably going to get a kill. It might cost him his ulti, but he's going to get a kill. So definitely, this is the most SB game ever, and that's one of the reasons that I just kind of prefer somebody like Shadow Demon in a lot of cases. It's better against defending against that aggression.
Yeah. Misery spending some time with Moo at the top lane, is getting some experience trying to progress. They are going to try and go on to Clairvoyance right as the TP goes out for the Vengeful Spirit. Looks like they were able to scout that one out thanks to their ward, see the free opportunity for the kill. I'm not sure what that TP was for from Omega Poner. Maybe he saw the attempt to DC contesting the Ancients a little bit and thought he needed to rotate over, but that did leave a prime opening once again, the top lane from DC. It seems like this kind of repetitive process where DC are continuing to hit on the same weak point where they pressure bottom lane that forces something to happen where top lane's able to take advantage.
Yep, and because of all this rotation, all the supports are under level now. Line's still level 3 and it's 930. I actually haven't seen a line this under leveled in a very, very long time, but it's a very bad sign for Void Boys if he can't get their farm. I mean, there was basically nobody in the safe lane the whole early game, but the supports rotated around to try to zone the Doom, and maybe the solution was that one of them needed to do that and the other one needed to pull hardcore and get levels to catch up, but it seemed like they were both involved in that, and at some point you have to guarantee that that somebody gets something, or you get into these kind of positions.
So we could definitely say that Sox's 4-position Doom and how disruptive he was and drew attention away from the potential ganks on mid lane, that was integral to actually set up Digital Chaos for success. And then part 2 was the pressure they put on bottom lane to again force Void Boys to rotate out.
Yeah, exactly. All of those things were very important. In some ways, Void Boys maybe should just let them take the tower rapidly. Send Tide down, don't get him glimpsed. The tower will eventually die, but Tide will get levels from it. And then the supports stay top, keep pulling, and can at that point zone the Doom. So I think they're just reacting poorly and DC's punishing it really hard. So I think that's what's happening here. It's not so much as like DC is playing it very well, but I think Void Boys is also reacting to it in a slightly bad way. It's hard to have confidence to say like, oh, they're doing this, we're gonna do something else that goes even, and to know what it is and to execute it perfectly.
Yeah, they are going to
this is bad. They found
try and bring the Crane back. They got a Primal Roar, a Pat Soul with a Static Storm. Looks like that's a guaranteed kill. And while we were obviously watching earlier the attempt at a smoke from Snake King and Omega Poner to wrap around that lane, it fails as they ran into the Slark. That means again that top lane is able to continue to pressure. They get both the kill on the Juggernaut as well as the Lion as the cleanup.
That's really unfortunate for them. When their smoke wrapped around, they happen to find Slark. Slark breaks it, and the gank executed a little bit earlier than that. So they were going to be late either way. It still would have been a bad fight, but to lose the surprise of their wraparound being there and to lose your jug, just really unfortunate for Void Boys.
Now Weeha's got all the space in the world, so he's going to start pressuring that tier 1 tower. The faster goes down, the faster he is going to get a Radiance into his hands, as he's already got 2,200 gold. Tier 1 dies, and a big boost of gold for Weeha.
He's been doing whatever he wants to this game. So many big implications. I mean, Void Boys needed to get a Ravage fight there. A double kill would have done wonders for their game, but they just were a little bit slow in getting there, and now there's more pressure. Another hero space creating. It's Slark.
Yeah, they are going to try and run down supports, both using their disables. They draw the line, they're going to cut across and try and pressure this tier 1, but it doesn't need too much help because Moo, he's got Necrobook 1 in his inventory. He's got Necrobook 2 waiting for him in his stash. He is insanely farmed.
And all the lanes are pushed now. Tier 1 towers dying everywhere. This opens up more places for Slark to do easy kills like this, and I just don't see this game not ending so soon.
Now the team on the Snake King, Resolution is going to try and combo up here, hit the pounce, get the extra magic damage required to make sure Snake King does go down, and unfortunately, this Mana Blaster comes in, it's immediately going to be static stormed up by Misery. They also get the control on the Mega Opponer, so 747, while he lives, can't really do anything against DC. Oh, send back, nice roar as well, no opportunity for a Ravage. That is a flyback that, well, it's not a dieback, it's totally useless. Pat Soul with the spin just ahead of the pounce will be able to get himself back to safety, but still, that is DC very clearly winning that engagement. No kills turned around yet for Void Boys as it continues to be a clean sweep for DC.
Their supports are behind in levels now. They're not taking team fights as well. All the tier 1s are dead, so Slark can basically look for kills constantly while farming aggressively. They will find a Moo kill at least, so that's going to put him on the board. He will not be the last hero that dies. Or maybe we might not even win our challenge. I think Valve's messed up some of the programming. There's going to be like 4 not dead heroes, and they're going to be like, you know what, we're not going to give that one to you, even though you picked one of the 4 correct.
Does it just choose like one of the
I
only awards to one of the people who didn't die?
I chose a Barracks dying at one point. The team won the game. It ended before the Barracks died. Didn't get the challenge, even though I got the right team, I think, in the time. It was a downer. It wasn't fair.
Downer.
Oh, it was like first Barracks to die, I think was the challenge. Which team gets the first Barracks kill, and I got the team right, and then they won, but they didn't give me the...
Yeah.
Valve, this is the most important thing you can work on. Get to it.
While we're discussing this very important mechanics of the Dota 2 game, there is going to be yet another failed smoke gank from Void Boys. They're just not finding any ground in this game, and I think they desperately need a Blink Dagger on Snake King. You know, I normally it's mech, right, but this kind of game, they just seem to be struggling on the initiation front. And if he doesn't get it, Lion is not going to be getting a Blink Dagger anytime soon, so that means there is no initiation from them.
Yeah, I mean, this game could have changed so much. It all came down to how fast... well, first of all the roaming stuff was a really big deal, but how fast that smoke gank going top was. Like, if they would have gotten a double kill Ravage there, then Jug is in a better place, he's got his items finished, then Ravage is on cooldown. Like, if you pick Tidehunter and you don't use Ravage, and your team is dying, then you are losing the game guaranteed, because you have to use the skill. It shouldn't be off cooldown in a lot of cases, because you should be using it to take fights and get kills. And they haven't been able to do this game, and they're being pressured, which means that they're not even going even. This is a good place.
Oh, he gets on the static run. They also throw the Doom on a Snake King. A little bit of combo up to make sure there is no Ravage. That's going to be inefficient, and it may cost them the fight. They already trade 1 for 1, and support down, but Pat Soul in some serious trouble, and he's got no support behind him whatsoever. Not even a swamp is going to come out to be able to save this guy. Jesus, they just run over Void Boys. And again, I look back to this Phantom Lancer and just go, you know, it's a nice hero that does scale into late game, but right now, when you need it the most, DC are running you over because he's just not able to have an impact.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of the series that we saw earlier today with Complexity versus FTL. They grabbed a hero that wins their 1v1 match in mid, but they're not as mobile. It's a carry. It takes them a long time to get up to speed, and if the rest of the team is losing the game, then you need somebody else to help create that space.
They're not slowing down one bit. They continue as a 5-man as they take that tier 2 in the mid lane, and they're going to rotate to bottom, and then they take that bottom tier 2. They consider Roshan, I think. Wait. I talked about not having swap, no save. I mean, Omega Opponer didn't even have swap when that pickoff was happening on the Juggernaut. So I guess I can't really blame him on positioning or saving the Juggernaut or anything. Cause
like, it's hard to even have discussions about the game at this point because it's based so much on what level they are.
Yeah. And a smoke now ruined. Tier 2 gonna fall anyway. Digital Chaos don't need to take this fight, but it looks like they want to anyway. They're gonna get the Primal Roar on 747. Resolution makes his initiation on the background. Fortunately, they caught him during the Dark Pack, so they're gonna be able to get the control onto him. DC Moo is gonna end up going down, but that Static Storm did so much damage. They're all being brought incredibly low, but now Patso with the Omni Slash, they are cleaving through all of these heroes. Resolution cleans up the Phantom Lancer on the side, but the rest just need to try and get the hell out of here. Patso, he's gonna go for the spin, will make his way back to the base where he will survive a 3 for 4, but I mean just because they're so drastically far behind.
Yeah, they get a gold advantage from that despite losing more heroes. The important thing is the experience. I would have loved for them to have their supports stay alive for more of those fights because they could have gotten 1-2 levels. Things like that really add up at this point for Venge. If more minus armor, more damage amp, that kind of stuff makes a big difference. All the experience goes to Juggernaut and Tide. Very good heroes receive it. Snake King had a beautiful Ravage that was perfect, but the only reason it worked out is because DC didn't have Doom at the time. If they did, that fight would have been completely, basically game ending. They would have won that fight and probably taken a Rax, and then that would have been the beginning of the end.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about, like, they didn't need to take that fight, right? But they chose to anyway just because they felt so comfortable with their position in the game. They got the tier 2. They could have just backed themselves away and waited for a pickoff, tried to go for Roshan, but Digital Chaos are like, no, we're far enough ahead. Take that fight. It's okay for them, but they do feed a bit of gold to Void Boys that maybe was unnecessary. Still, though, with the Ravage down, it does mean that Roshan is theirs for the taking.
And that's almost everything Void Boys has. Omni Slash and Ravage. If they're not ahead, they can't really utilize their low cooldown spells like Earth Spike, Hex, Magic Missile. Like they basically have 2 supports that are kind of useless outside of Ravage. Because their cores don't have the damage to make the small cooldown disables useful.
Resolution just looking for, he's got the Doppelganger off, 747. Oh boy, you just Doppelganger for no reason. Resolution will punish you.
He did that in lane? Is that what happened to start off?
Yeah, I mean, no, he was kind of like fighting up against Resolution. Resolution turned, fought him. He used the Doppelganger, but he didn't try and like run away or anything. And Resolution is just like, okay, he went invis, waited, got the pounce on the rail 1. And then if you don't have Doppelganger, right, like how do you get out of that?
Pretty tough here. They're smoking, these are pretty cool smokes, just a little unpredictable stuff, not the group of 5 look for fights, just the can we grab a free kill here in the mid lane?
Yeah. And if not, they'll still be able to push the tier 3. They've got a great hero for it in the Lone Druid. No way for Void Boys to easily punish you. They're going to pull back here. Nice glimpse into the pounce for a guaranteed kill on the support. Just to start things off, DC do make it a 4 versus 5 as they now take that tier 3 tower. And Void Boys, they need to make the initiation now. They've got the Ravage. If they want to be able to stop this melee Rax from going down, they just are fearful of going for it. They're really not going to hit the heroes they need to if they just jump onto this cliff area. They're going to hit maybe 2 heroes, 2 of the tankiest heroes in the game.
Yeah, it's so tough. I don't know how they win a fight here. I feel like they should just go for it because they're already behind, and the more racks they lose guarantees the loss, but minimum they can wait maybe for Necros to die. They can try to slow the push a little. Oh, this bear even has a moon shard. They're so far ahead.
There's the Ravage. They're going to try and combo onto the Spark Team. They can pop up. The Static Storm now comes in. The Omni Slash bounces around. They've taken out the Beastmaster. 747 though immediately dies. He gets targeted by the Doom. Resolution. Nice. Their spike there. Trying to blow up. Oh, he actually went for Soxa there. But maybe because Resolution's ages, but either way, it means that nobody's going to die. And Snake King looks like he'll be the last one dead in this fight anyway. 18-7, and that's where we call it. GG from Void Boys. Digital Chaos will take this series 2-0.
It was a good Ravage at the end, but they didn't quite focus fire perfectly. They got the Beastmaster close to no roar there, but too many tanky